Coach Kane's dressed a lot nicer than I am.
Sometimes you gotta look nice. My wife was saying, "Why don't you have something red on?" I said, "I have red, but I also have white. We're at a away game right now. So I'm wearing white shirts." Yep.
We'll wait a couple more minutes. We'll get everybody in and we'll kind of welcome some people and but then wait a few minutes. I got an introduction for you both before I give the floor to you guys.
Okay.
If you don't like the introduction, blame Dan Nolan. He's watching.
He's an easy target.
A very easy target. That hasn't changed much.
No.
Sorry. Dan knows. He's a good guy.
So my clock just turned 1:30, so officially welcome everyone who is watching. We'll give it a few more minutes just to let some others log on. I know some of you did actually register from the coffee chats we had this morning with faculty in the academic sessions. There were a number of people who just who didn't register previously, but just logged on and were able to talk to faculty. So we'll give this a couple more minutes as well before we officially get started.
Okay, good.
No cross country meets for you today, Michael?
Not today, no. Fortunately, they run during the week, so usually Tuesdays and or Thursdays. But and I see your daughter is visiting a Sunday school today.
You talking about Hannah?
Yeah.
Where'd you see?
Isn't she down in with Riley?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You can't hide from anybody. See how that goes? Yeah, they all know.
Social media, they find out everything.
They do. They do. I didn't have to deal with that too much. Social media type stuff. A little bit, not too much.
I just got notification, gentlemen, we're live on the Facebook alumni page. So look sharp. We'll be live on the athletics page here shortly. So give you guys the floor so I don't screw it up.
Wouldn't be the first time either one of us done that.
We'll just give her one more minute. Make sure we're up live on the athletics page and then we'll get going.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we ready to go?
Absolutely.
Do it.
All right. I just got notification. We're live on the Facebook pages, and so we're going to get going. To all of you that are out there that are watching, who registered, and those who are watching on Facebook Live, welcome to Best of Game Day. This is, we were talking earlier, not what we really wanted today, but it's what we have. So we'd rather be in April's Or Memorial Stadium. But I will say we're glad to have this time with Coach Kane and Coach Braun. Before we begin, just some housekeeping items. Most of you, I think, would know this, at this point in your Zoom career. But the participants will be on mute. Your cameras are off. For the best viewing experience, please ensure that you are on speaker mode, which can be selected in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. I'm going to introduce the coaches here in a second, and they're going to talk for a little while, and then we'll open up the floor for questions. You can type any questions you have in the chat function, and I'll read them to the coaches as they come in. There'll also be an opportunity to do that on Facebook Live as well. We're having fun planning these virtual events. We'd love to hear your ideas for events that interest you in the future, so feel free to share those. There will be a short 3-minute or so survey after this that'll go out after the event, so please fill that out as well. So again, grateful to have Coach Kane and Coach Braun here. Let me go ahead and first introduce Coach Braun. And as a quick aside and props, thank you, Dan Nolan, for helping us out with this, with the introductions. So Coach Braun is the 31st head coach in the 126-year history of the program and is in his 6th year as head coach. He's been named the Midwest Conference Coach of the Year in each of his first 5 seasons and holds a 42-10 record with 3 consecutive titles and NCAA playoff appearances, which include back-to-back appearances in 2016 and 17. Originally hired in 2000 as a defensive coordinator, Braun continues to direct the defense as head coach, a defense which led the nation in scoring defense in 2016 and 18. Since 2015, when Coach took the reins, 6 Scots, and I apologize, I hope I don't get these names wrong. If I do, Coach, you help me out. So 6 Scots: offensive lineman Joe Krall, defensive end Thomas Lesniewski, defensive back Micah Smith, linebacker Matt Barnes, offensive lineman Colton Cook, and quarterback Tanner Matlick have earned All-American honors. Get that right, Coach?
McCain Smith.
Oh, sorry. Dang it. I was thinking Michael.
He's used to getting called that on the road all the time.
Okay. All right. Well, good. All right. Coach Kane is the longest serving head coach in program history, leading the Scots from 1984 to 1999. Coach Kane led Monmouth to 3 consecutive Midwest Conference South Division titles in 1987, 88, and 89. Those campaigns came in the midst of a 5-year record of 41-7. 3 of those losses came against St. Norbert in MWC title tilts. With a trademark option attack, Kane won 71 games at Monmouth, which included a record, I believe, 26 consecutive regular season victories. He was inducted into the M Club Hall of Fame in 2012, joining 6 of his players: kicker John Warfield, linebacker Dwayne Hughes, offensive linemen Dan Cotter and Ross Richardson, running back Kevin Mattarelli, and quarterback Mark Reed. Coach was also inducted into the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame. So with that, I don't know if you guys talked previously as who was wanting to go first and give your own introductions, but coaches, the floor is yours.
Coach Kane,
Coach.
I was going to defer to you. We're excited that everybody's on here. It's great that we can reach to a lot of former Fighting Scot football players and that have been a great part of our football program through the years. We wanted to have Coach Rykow on here. Coach Rykow, had some health difficulties here recently, just had surgery. So we wish him and his family nothing but the best. But, really excited to have Coach Kane on here and really excited for today.
Again, I appreciate being asked to come out here. I think it's a great thing. Coach Braun and I talk the same language, which is a wonderful thing. And I've got a lot of some Monmouth roots. I've got a freshman in college at beautiful Monmouth College right now. His name is Kane as well, but that's his first name. Kane Miller is his name. He's my daughter's son. And then I have my daughter graduated from Monmouth. My son, Sean, graduated from Monmouth. He's an anesthesiologist. So there are a few smart people in my family, not me, but mostly. That's a great thing. So yeah, it's great to be part of this.
Well, good. Before we do open it up for any questions, Coach Braun, maybe just, because we're in the middle of the semester here, maybe give our alums watching and those out on Facebook Live a sense of kind of what you guys are, dealing with on campus with your student athletes, kind of just what's been going on so far this semester with them and practicing and contact and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's obviously a unique time in, Monmouth College history. I don't think anyone ever plans to go through a pandemic like this. And it's been, tough on our players, been tough on our coaches. Obviously, we've missed, playing today, and we feel bad for our seniors, that should be out on the field playing today. And unfortunately, it is what it is right now, and we're doing everything we can to protect them and keep them safe. And so, what we've done, we've been able to get out on the field for about 3 weeks, and just run through some plays with them. Just I think you get to see the joy just being around our players. Even with the uncertainty of not knowing whether we're going to have a season in the spring or anything like that, but just to be able to build relationships and be out on the field with them and just get a chance to know them, and you can see the excitement in the face, really hats off to our upperclassmen. With all the uncertainty going around, you would never know that we're not playing right now. I mean, our guys come out there every day ready to work with a great attitude, are excited to be on the field, and just be around each other. So, we are working with our freshmen in the weight room right now. We're limited. We can only have 16 guys in there at a time. So we're doing 3 sessions in the morning with our freshmen, 6, 7, and 8 a.m. And so we're getting an opportunity to work with them a little bit in the weight room. Our upperclassmen are kind of on their own because they know our program already. So, but just any contact we get to have with our guys is, Coach Kane will attest to it. It's about relationships and just any time we can spend with our guys, it's a lot of fun being around them for sure.
Coach Kane, I'm guessing you in your time at Monmouth, or even outside of Monmouth, did you ever have to go through anything remotely close to something like this, or no?
No, with a capital N. Thank goodness everybody else gets to do that. I don't want any part of it. I have thought that it ought to be a football game playing about every Friday night for about the last 5 weeks, and I can't go, what? No, we can't do that. So anyway, it's crazy, but it's what we do. We'll have to live with it, and hopefully you'll get a chance to get out and play in the spring. And I know the high school people around are all wanting to do that, and so it could be good, and it might be great. You never know.
Right. So for those of you out there, I hear we're getting a lot of clicks on the Facebook Live. I don't have any particular questions yet on our webinar chat here, but let me go ahead and open it, Coach Kane, to you first. We'll just get into some questions. I know there's some alumni out there who are just kind of wanting to, relive the days a little bit. And so going back to your first and second years, your teams struggled a little bit like a lot of, new coaches do. I remember Coach Braun and Coach Bell's first couple years, under 500, but then made a huge jump, 8-1 the following year. So just in talking about the foundation that you laid in your first couple of years, and what was that biggest factor in making such a large jump that third year?
Well, I think probably the thing that was very fortunate for me in the fact that I came in and I had a little bit of touching base with people in Galesburg. So I was able to recruit some people right off. And then I had some guys, really good guys in the program. And we worked hard on the recruiting end. We worked hard on the speed and the strength program, had high expectations for academics. And I think that went a long way to lay a groundwork for it. And following that, as Coach was saying, the kids themselves working together off season, even though they weren't able to be around for much of the first season, off season wise, they got a lot of camaraderie, and we started back the next year and things went wonderfully well. So a lot of that's leadership, I think, and all those things come into what you got to do, and you got to have good leaders to be any good at anything. So yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing that I did. The strength program, and really worried and didn't want anybody to have anybody have to leave the program due to bad academics and whatever. So we really worked hard at that, and I think that we had really good people that way, and it just kind of snowballed from that point forward.
Was that the cage? Was the cage there in the at that time?
The cage definitely was there. It was. And one of our players, Michael Perez, for one, painted the sign.
Oh, okay.
He did that, yeah. Oh, my.
Did the name drop a little bit on, some of those players that helped you with the turnaround a little bit. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I figured you could rattle off a few.
Well, there's a few for sure. When we came there, we got a really good quarterback from Eastern Illinois. I ought to know where he's from, but I can't say his name. Anyway, right off that. But anyway, Dwayne Hughes was his name. He was a quarterback in high school, came to us. He was 6'5", and by the time he was a sophomore, he weighed 250 and played linebacker the whole time in his career. He's an All-American, went and played for Saskatchewan Rough Riders. He was a heck of a player, really good player. So those are the things sometimes, and I think Coach would even mention that there's a few of us that I'm not sure how this guy's going to be or that guy's going to be when you recruit. But with Dwayne, that was a pretty good recruit, which I never did. I was just glad he was there.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
We got our first question from Trevor Newton.
Okay.
Trevor lives out in Colorado. Says, speaking of glory days, Coach Braun and Coach Kane, when you're pondering while fishing, can you please name one Monmouth game or moment that makes you smile?
Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, probably the one game that stands out maybe more than any other one for me would be, the first championship we won in 05, the year before against St. Norbert, we just in 04, we got demolished, I think we got beat like 55-10. My defense gave up, 500 some yards that day. And we were just, we just got, and you start to question, because we went, I think 9-1 that year, and you start to wonder, like, can you ever get over the hump against those guys, And I remember I went up and I worked a camp at St. Norbert that day. And I remember, or that summer, I worked a camp up there. And I remember being up there and seeing the bell and just thinking to myself, when we go up there this year, there ain't no way they're ringing that bell this year. And our kids, I remember we were down 20-7 at half that year. And you looked into our kids' eyes and there was never, they didn't blink. You could just tell we were going to come back in the second half. And we came back and beat them 28-20. And that's probably the one that, the first time you get over the hump, I think that was really special.
Cool. Coach Kane?
Interestingly, I think one particular type of game that we have a huge rivalry for 15 miles between us. And they have not had the most wonderful success over the years. And that's wonderful for Coach Braun and for me as well. But anyway, I know that the 100th year of the games that we played, I just happened to have a situation here. In 1888, Knox student reported there was quiet, peaceful, sunny afternoon at Old Siwash. That used to be what the Siwash was, and then Siwash not now anymore. But anyway, and when suddenly the quiet was broken by a disparaging shout of a bunch of Monmouth boys who appeared without warning to challenge Knox to a football game. In less time than it took the bloody dust to run off the field, Monmouth was successful as usual. So anyway,
Yeah.
that was a long time ago that particular article went. And symbol of the series, Braun's turkey, that was in the 40s, or actually, I'm sorry, here in Laura, 1929, I guess is right. And winning that turkey was given to anybody who ever won that game, and we kept it for a long time, and only you guys have too. And I also know that on the 100th game, it was 46, 45, and 10 in 1990 with Monmouth in the lead, and that was the first time it had ever been that good. And then because Knox won a few courtesy games early on, they had not many other guys were playing. But anyway, Monmouth took over the series lead at that time after 101 games, ties and all. Series now is 66, 45, and 10. I think that's right, Coach. Is that close?
I think so.
I think, well, you had a lot of them to count. I hoped I made it right, But anyway, 66, 45, and 10 is what it is. So the only thing I saw there was in 1990, there were only 45 losses. And in now today, there's still only 45 losses and a whole lot more wins. So that's the way that went, Braun's turkey and all that. And we always had to play that game. And fortunately, it hasn't been wonderfully competitive lately. And I always like to have those if you can get them. And but we always had to take care of that one. You didn't want to lose that one ever. So anyway, that's that.
Okay. Well, of course, we had to have the SID chime in. We lead Knox now 70, 50, and 10.
Let's see, I missed 70, 50, and 10. There you go.
Yeah. So thank you, Dan. So question from Byron Sangra. Coach Kane, how do you think the game has changed since you retired from coaching?
Interesting. I just happen to have a paper that says talking points on it. And Byron's one of my favorite all-time players. And the talking points were written by my oldest son, who says, evolution of the game from Kane to Braun, he says. No peel back blocks, no looking a quarterback up. He was a quarterback, so he never liked that. No going low on a quarterback, no pile watching, no cut blocks out of the running backs. They can still if you're throwing anyway, I think, but that's in here. We were a wishbone team, so we did a lot of that. Anyway, the game's become more wide open, fewer fullbacks, more pistol, less eye. I can't go for all that. I like some of that stuff. But anyway, times that hold, he says, blocking, tackling, running the ball, defending the run. These things will always hold, he says. But anyway, coaching staff differences. When we started, we had 5 coaches in 84, and we ended it with one more. We got 6 in 99. So anyway,
Wow.
Wasn't much fun at that way, but it was fun. We had a great time. And science of the game, we didn't have a trainer. It took a long time to get us one. We got a good one right now. So we had to tape, we had to diagnose everything, all that. So anyway, those are the talking points that my dear son, eldest son, wanted me to mention. And I said, okay, I will if I get a shot. So that's all.
There you go.
There it is.
So Coach Braun, to you, just in your 20 years now at Monmouth, how's it changed? But let's focus defensively, since you're been a defensive coach the entire time.
Sure. Yeah. I think what Coach Kane was saying, I mean, when I first started, it was, you saw under center, I formation, and now, the game is really like basketball on a football field, like it's spread out. It's a space game now, very different. It used to be, line up mano a mano and who's bigger, tougher, more physical. And now it's, they're trying to get the ball out to athletes in space and 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 make it a space game, versus, what it used to be. So that's how it's changed, so we've had to evolve defensively. I mean, we used to, play with, when we first started, like three true, sometimes four true linebacker type guys. Now, you're really playing with one kind of true linebacker guy in the middle, and then two more athletic guys at your other two spots, and you could even say maybe a fifth defensive back a lot of times out there, so the game has really changed, through the years. And now if, you see we saw, Ripon still run the triple option last year, and used to see a couple option teams every year, and now you might see one every other year or something like that, so it's really changed a lot through the years.
So Coach Kane and then Coach Braun, as it relates to recruiting, did your recruiting change over 15 years at Monmouth as the game evolved, or no? And Chad, like, how's your recruiting involved as far as, are you looking more at positions, or are you just looking at pure players? So Coach Kane, take it first.
Well, again, I think, I don't know this, I don't have the last answer on everything, but I think for the most part, when we started, there was a whole different looking at type of recruitment you did. We did have positions, like, for example, I recruited a really good quarterback from Galesburg who got out of the business. Mark Reed is his name, and he was a great one for us, and he deserved everything he got. I had a guy named Dan Cotter, and he's a wonderful story. Dan is he has lore going on at Monmouth College because of all his academia stuff, and he's been an attorney now. And interestingly about Cotter is the guy never started a football game in his life before he came to college, and then he started every game he ever played for us. He was they had some pretty good players. I asked him, I said, what do you mean you didn't start when he came to campus? I said, you didn't start? He said, no, I didn't. Of course, he was 6'4" and about 260. But anyway, I said, well, wow, I don't quite understand that. And he said, well, 3 of my starting 4 linemen went to Notre Dame. So there wasn't many opportunities for him to play, So anyway, I was happy to see him. He looked good. He's an iron pounder, and he started every football game in his career after that. So he did a real good job for us.
So recruiting.
Yeah, recruiting has changed. You guys have gotten the chance. I don't know whether you really like it or not, Coach, but in my case, we never got to go off campus at all. We couldn't go off, and so people would get calls. They had to come into campus and have an overnight and all those kinds of things. Whereas you guys can go out to college or go out to their high schools and one thing and another, which I would have enjoyed doing that. I think we could have done a little bit better job recruiting in most cases. And those I had a whole lot of explanations. I don't know if you got this too, Michael, but we got had to give explanations as to, well, how come this coach from this school can come into my school and talk to me and then you guys can't? And I went, well, we alibi out and try to go with it, but we didn't win all of those. That's for sure. Because they want to know how come they're going to get to talk to the head coach all the time. Well, we couldn't leave campus to talk to anybody. So anyway, that's what happened with us, I should say.
Yeah. And I would say, Michael, probably the biggest change from when I first got here to Monmouth, I'm kind of the same situation. We couldn't go off campus to recruit, when we first got here. Then you got 25 days, then they made it unlimited, where you could go off as much as you want. And, but probably the biggest thing is, back when, you would watch film, you'd watch it on a VHS tape, and now, you got Huddle out there. You can watch anybody. Social media is huge. Like, every kid, a lot of the kids we recruit now, they're on Twitter. Their highlight videos, they do weekly updates on their games on Twitter. So there's just so many avenues out there now that you can find kids. It makes the world a smaller place. One of the things, we've done is we've recruited out of state a little bit more, just because the access to the internet and being able to reach a wider audience, so So those are some of the ways that it's changed through the years for me.
I got a question from the Facebook live feed from Josh Kotecki. Know that name? This is for Coach Braun. Coach Braun, why are offensive linemen more athletic than defensive players?
I wonder what he played.
He knew how to put me in a no-win situation there. So, hey, offensive linemen, they're the, smartest guys on the field. They're the best athletes. I love our offensive linemen. So, Kentucky's asking that because all his buddies were defensive guys. Artotsky and Danny Wyden and those guys were all his best friends when he was here playing. So they would fight about every day in practice. So that's why he's asking that. But I love offensive linemen. I think it's the most underrated position, on the field, and the most important position. We're fortunate. Coach Freitag does a great job with our offensive line, and we got a great group right now. We're really excited about our young offensive line, and we got a great group moving forward.
Good, cool. So speaking, you just mentioned with Coach Freitag, I don't have any current questions. So let me ask this, just because I think I didn't know your entire staff the entire time you were here, Coach Kane, but there certainly was a Monmouth College alumni flavor to your staffs, right?
That's true.
So if you could, just over time, who were the alumni who served on your staffs?
Well, again, Mark Reed, after he finished at Monmouth College, and he came back and he went to the high school ranks and he coached over there, and then he came back to us and was our quarterback and running back coach. We had Roger Haynes, of course. Now that he might not even realize that Roger Haynes coached football at one time.
I did.
Really good job, and in fact, he quit, and then I ended up quitting track. So sounded like there was something going on there, but there wasn't. But Roger Sander, of course, obviously, and that's Mitch's alter ego. If he needs anything, he talks to Roger for sure. And Mitch, I think, probably runs it exactly like Roger did, would be the way I'd guess. He does he let anybody in the equipment room to hand out stuff? I bet he doesn't. I bet he said, "Nah, get out of here." That's Roger's a big thing right there. He always said, "No, get out of here." It's funny how that was, because some guys do what they do. Any others? Well, probably if I could. Alumni types? I don't know. I can't remember any. You got any?
Yeah, well, I think
I'm getting old, man. Huh?
Nate Johnson, sir.
Nate did. What am I saying? Yeah, Nate more played for me than that, but he got in and he got in that backfield and worked. And Nate's a great guy, and one I really enjoy, and still see him when he's got a couple kids I know, and I have a niece that is a swimmer, or was a swimmer, not so much now, but we'd always go out to the Y and watch it. It's a granddaughter, of course. But anyway, we'd go out to watch her swim, and there'd be Nate with his daughter out there swimming. It's kind of hot in here, man. Let's go outside and play football or something. Anyway, but it was fun. Great time.
Yeah, and Nate still serves on our staff now. He's been the running back coach, I think, for almost 15 years now. Does a tremendous job with our running backs. And Mitch obviously played for Coach Kane, so both those guys playing for Coach Kane and coming back and helping us. And Mitch Russell does an outstanding job with our D line. And then, Joe Freitag, played on our 05 championship team, that first championship team. And now he's back as the offensive coordinator. Fortunate with the guys that, we have that are alums that are coaching on our staff. Phil Poland coaches our special teams and was a punter here for us. Very fortunate to have the alums back, helping with us, and got a great staff overall. EJ White does a great job with our quarterbacks and receivers, and Easton Shavers. So he's an alum. He's back helping coaching receivers now. And then, Derek Johnston, even though he's not alum, he's been tied to our program, been my linebacker coach for, 19 out of my 21 years here. So been really fortunate with the guys, a lot of loyalty to the program, a lot of guys that have stayed around and helped our program. So
Good.
That's okay in Division III, in my opinion. You got to have those guys stick around. That's right.
for sure.
Yeah, agree. We'll get back to some more football and game questions. So, Coach Kane, this one's for you. You won 3 straight Southern Division titles from 87 to 89. What are some of your favorite games from that incredible run? And are there some players that stood out during that span?
Yeah, there would be. I don't want to tell on anybody, but I think we had that one written out, so I had a little bit of time to work on it. But anyway, when we were coaching during that time frame, Cole and Cornell were the biggest, nastiest, toughest team that we had to play routinely. Obviously, St. Norbert they didn't get down to play unless we had to play them. But anyway, people that stood out, Mark Reed, who was a fantastic All-American quarterback for us for a long time, and 2 years at least. Sean Mayer was a fullback for us. David Coker, a sad thing to this day because he died of leukemia during the season, and that was one of the hardest things we ever lived with. Mark Gustafson, another one, and he died too. He did finish, but he was out working on the East Coast, and they found him the next day dead. So big old offensive tackle, and great to have. And think about that kind of stuff all the time and hope I don't have to get many more of those. But anyway, Cole and Cornell, St. Norbert, obviously, and we lost that ill-fated 3-0 game to Cole, and which cost us an undefeated season and all those kinds of things and going on. But we have had a lot of good run, and that particular time frame was terrific for everybody. And I really, really loved everybody on those teams, and it's great.
Okay, Coach Braun, this one's for you. You were the defensive coordinator when you won 3 conference titles in 4 years, in 08, 09, and 11, and have now done so as the head football coach in 16, 17, and 19. So can you talk about those teams a little bit?
Yeah, all different type of teams. I really think, our 08 team, really was one of the most talented teams that we have had in my 20 years here. That was a team that, we were 7 seconds away from going into the 3rd round of the playoffs, that heartbreaking loss to Wartburg that year. Really talented on both sides of the ball. Obviously Alex at quarterback, but a lot of weapons on offense, Matt Shepard, Micheal Blaesing. We had some great running backs, Clay Bricker, and, some great players on that 08 team. 09 and 11, that 11 team, obviously that's one of probably, the greatest memories I have, winning that 3 overtime game against Illinois Wesleyan in the playoffs, advancing to the 2nd round that year. And then, recently 16, 17, 19, all really 3 different teams. The team in 16 really had a chance to make a run. And, we had that miserable day at Code, turned the ball over 9 times and lost 21-14. And then 17, a good team. We just didn't play good in the playoffs. And then 19 last year was a team that just overachieved all year, just was a team that, I thought honestly we might be a year away from getting back and challenging for a conference championship. And, they just overachieved all year and found a way to come back and win a crazy game, so all different types of teams through the years.
This one comes in on the webinar chat here. This is for both coaches. Coach Braun, we'll let you go first this time. What's your favorite part of the game day routine besides the game itself?
Yeah, I think, the bagpipes are just so special, going out there with the bagpipes. And then we got our little rocket out thing that we do before the game. It's just it's a unique tradition compared to any other place that I've ever been. I miss hearing I still get chills 20 years coming out to the bagpipes. I get chills every time they start to play, and it's just such a wonderful tradition. You know, so many guys when they get married have the bagpipes at their weddings, and just an awesome game day tradition.
Coach Kane.
I agree with all those things. Yeah, my son had the bagpipes going when he got married, and that's just something, like you said, you just don't really ever forget. The only thing I didn't like about the bagpipes were they were Scottish bagpipes, and I'm Irish, so I would like to have seen them in green. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm kidding all the way. But yeah, for sure. I that was fantastic. I don't know that I have ever been to any game, and I've been to a lot of games, I'm sure, as all of us have, and I didn't know of any where they came out and had those things lead you on the field. Fantastic, for sure.
If I didn't say that, that was from Garrett Youngren.
Okay, Garrett, good.
So here's just a comment from Facebook from Jason Glover. Coach Kane took the football team to France in 1994. Thank you for the experience of a lifetime.
Well, I didn't know that would come up, but yeah, we did do that. We had more than one of those, thank goodness, and it was a great fun. And we did 7 of them. My wife is adding in, but I couldn't guess about how many. There was a bunch of them, but anyway, yes. And I'm sure glad he could come with us. And it is always a fantastic situation.
So did Coach Russell to Spain.
Oh yeah, Coach Russell went to Spain with us. Oh gosh, just things you forget. But anyway, yeah, we had great fun, and I oddly enough, and I never told anybody this. Didn't sound real honest, but anyway, we did those tricks more for having an opportunity to practice in the spring. Because if you were going over there, they gave you 10 days or something that you could work out. So that was one of the major things. So I pushed hard to get those things. I liked doing it. My wife wanted to go, and that's a great thing.
We won every game.
Oh yes, we did win every game. That is true. They didn't know how to catch very well over there. So like you said, Coach, if you could throw it at all, you had a real good chance. But they could flat kick it, and all the rest of those things from the soccer influence. But as far as throwing to them, they dropped a whole lot of balls, which I liked. So anyway, yeah, that's good fun. Good fun.
What so speaking, going on the road, it just kind of made me think all the road trips that you guys have gone on over the years. Where does, whether it's you guys or of other coaches, where does no one like to go to? Is there a worst road trip out there? I'm sure there is for all the players. Like, for me as basketball and baseball, I have places we never liked going to. Is there anywhere that you guys just like every year you think, man, I dread that trip?
Norbert.
For me, it'd have to be those crazy schools from Wisconsin. I didn't like any of those. We had to stay overnight and badger the guys about getting in bed and all those kinds of things. And yeah, no kidding. Whether it's St. Norbert or Lawrence or who it was, that's the situation with them. I didn't like any of them. They're long and drawn out. And the worst part of the trips were after the game was over, you got to get back on that bus and go back. You couldn't stay overnight, which is a nice thing. Maybe you can get that done, Coach, whenever. Well, you can stay both nights, before and after. Yeah, I didn't like the after part because I worried about keeping them in line, but not our guys, but maybe the guys that play for you. They had a hard time keeping them in. Just kidding. So anyway, yeah, so that's it. Those are always the hard trips for me. And I didn't mind going to Wisconsin, went to Iowa, other than just going to Iowa. But anyway, I didn't mind it myself as far as a game to go to. But yeah, the Wisconsin trips were never good. Even Lake Forest I didn't like that much because you got in so much traffic and stuff. But
Right.
Anyway, good times.
Coach Braun?
Yeah, St. Norbert's just such a long drive. It's a 5.5 hour drive, and if you lose that game, you got to think about it for 5.5 hours on the way home, and then you don't want to go to sleep when you get home. So that is it's a haul. One of the things that we've done when we've gone up there, a couple things to make it a different experience. When Alex was playing here, he was getting looked at by all the NFL teams. The Packers got us in there to see Lambeau Field and walk through there. And that was really, really unique. And then, last time we played up at Lawrence in Appleton, we were able to get on the University of Wisconsin, play or practice at the Badger facility, so in their stadium in there. And that was really, really unique, and kind of broke it up. And, and anytime you win, it's not a bad ride home, but anytime you lose, man, it's a miserable ride home.
It is.
Yeah.
5 hours anywhere is a miserable ride, but that's just me, but that's all right.
So this one is for both of you. So Coach Kane, we'll start with you this time. Such a big part of the football program for 15 years, 149 games. I hate to put you on the spot, but everyone, wants to hear it. What's the game that just stands out above all the other ones?
Well, interestingly enough, Coach has had a lot better success than I ever did involved with it. But biggest regret I've had in coaching, in college, that is that we won 3 divisional titles and never won a conference title. And those were the ones that kind of haunt you. You go out, we played really well against like a 20-15 game to our old buddies, St. Norbert, and some of those kinds of things, always close, always tight game. And then they ended up winning, and we never had an opportunity to win a conference. And that's something that I felt that we always had as one of our goals, and didn't come to pass. So that's a regret.
So Coach Braun, you're in your 20th year now, 15 as an assistant, 5 as a head coach. What's a game that stands out for you, whether it's as an assistant or a head coach or both for that matter?
Yeah, I'd probably say as an assistant, for sure, the Illinois Wesleyan game in the playoffs. I'm down in 2011. We're down 17-0 in that game, and it's not looking good at all. We I think we cut it to 17-7 right before half, and then we come back and we shut them out the rest of the game, get it, win in triple overtime. I can still remember. I get emotional just thinking about it. Andy Jenks has got my son Silas. He was a little guy at the time on his shoulders, and I remember when Trey Yoakum gets in the end zone to score the game winner, and just going back to our locker room at that time, it was just such a unbelievable atmosphere. I mean, our fans were going crazy, and it was just an emotional, roller coaster of a day. And that one probably stands out above any other game that I've been a part of.
Yeah. And that picture of you guys with all your arms in the air running onto the field, I don't know who got that picture, but that's just in terms of, certainly recent Monmouth history. That for me, because I was at that game with our oldest daughter, Madeline, and she was just a young one. But we went over there and braved the cold. But that picture when we won of you guys with everybody's got their arms up at the same time is one of the best pictures that I've seen. So that's definitely a memorable one.
Yeah, my phone screensaver is a picture of me hugging Coach Russ. I'm in his jumped up in his arms, and he's holding me, up in the air right after that game. So
yeah.
Interestingly, I listened to that game, and not as interesting, but I'm a graduate of Illinois Wesleyan, so I'm not mad at you at all, Coach. But it's one of those things. I did play there and went to school there, but anyway, yeah, I think we're at a wedding. Maybe. Yeah, we were at a wedding, and I kept going out the car to listen and see how it was, So, yep, that's how that was. It was a great thing. Good one for the Titans to lose, in my opinion. Wonderful thing.
So, Coach Braun, Coach Kane mentioned his biggest regret there just a minute ago. What your coaching career is not done, but has there been a regret so far in your 20 years at Monmouth?
Yeah, for sure. My first year as head coach, losing in that championship game to St. Norbert up at third place. We turned the ball over 5 times, really beat ourselves that year. And, your first year as a head coach, that senior group was so special to me because, obviously, I go from being, the defense coordinator to being the head coach. It's a different dynamic, different relationship. and really wanted to see those guys get a championship because, I mean, they supported me, being the head coach, and they fought for me to be the head coach, and really wanted to just reward those guys. And it was such a heartbreaking loss, and then our group in 18 too, that I really thought we were super talented going in that year up to St. Norbert, one of a team that could really make a run, and Hayden Nelson he was our quarterback, broke his foot in the game against Knox the week before, and we turned the ball over 6 times in that game. So those games when you beat yourselves, those are the ones that just eat at you, that you don't forget about.
Dan Nolan was just let me know that he was the one that got that picture at Illinois Wesleyan. So that was great timing, Dan. That's
perfect.
A really good one. So.
Yes, he doesn't have a copy of it. Dan, not against fibbing once in a while, but I think he probably did.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So we're getting, we've been on here for maybe about 50 minutes. Just a couple more questions, or maybe one before some closing remarks from each of the coaches. Folks out there on Facebook Live or here on the Zoom call, if you have any last minute questions, be sure to get them in. But while you do that, let me just throw this to the coaches. You both have been very successful. Do you have a philosophy or two that you've used for that success? What have been the keys for you in your successful football careers? I'll throw it up to you guys, whoever wants to take that one.
I better have it because he's been getting most of it. Coach been getting most of them first. So. And I've been in it a little bit longer than he has. Geez, 40 years as a head coach. But anyway, I hate to even think about that, but that's true. Basically everything that I'm doing now, I was doing back then. I had an older brother who was in the Hall of Fame, and he was a coach as well. And we started off with a lot of stuff he did, and then used some of that. And then I was able to get my own stuff going, and I'm sure Coach understands that. We all do, and that kind of makes it all more like it's yours at that point. And that's certainly the way I went through and did that, and felt really good about what I had done and what I've been part of. Mostly, though, the biggest thing for me is the relationships you make and you be part of, whether it's off the field, on the field, recruiting, or whatever it is. All of those things kind of come back. And and I'm just going to act like the old guy now, because when you're no longer coaching, those things, you still think about all of those types of things and who they were, and wonder what so-and-so's doing and that one's doing and this one isn't. And that's my wonderful alums should give me a call now and again. Let me know how it's going. No, I'm just kidding. I don't need to do that, but it's been a great time. And I'd be remiss if I didn't quickly just throw a blurb in about one of my favorite guys who coached for me in high school. And then he went to Monmouth and coached for me there too. Hal DeVore is his name. He's a little bit older than I am, and that's wonderful, but he was our offensive line coach, and he was about all of 5'7" and maybe weighed 160, maybe. But anyway, he was our line coach at that time, coached there for a long time. And right before one of the Knox games, I didn't realize, I think the players did it, somebody did it, came out and had T-shirts on underneath their pads. And yeah, all the offensive linemen did, and they had on this T-shirt, Tiny's Fat Boys, because they, again, not letting him know that they were calling him Tiny, but that's what they all called him anyway. And they pull their shirts up, and they could see the helmet and Tiny's Fat Boys and all that, and all those guys were not all fat, but they're pretty big, and so that kind of made his day, and you would have never guessed him to be an offensive lineman, and he said he was down in a town on the Mississippi River. So little, and he did a great job, and really cerebral, though, very, very smart.
Coach Braun.
Yeah, I mean, I always say this, that, it's a player's game. I got a great coaching staff, but you don't win without players. That's the thing is, I've never made one tackle. I've never thrown one touchdown pass. I've never made a block. It's a player's game. Been fortunate to coach a lot of great players through the years. But like Coach Kane says, it's really is about the relationships. Very fortunate, Monmouth College has a great history and tradition in football, and just be fortunate to be a part of it and be the head coach. And, but I, got great young men that I get to be around every day and spend time with every day. And hopefully, in some way that, we've impacted their lives and made, them a better person along the way. That's the big thing is, I got a great wife that does an outstanding job. She teaches here, and she's another, force in these young men's lives. Some of them spend more time with her because they like her better than they like me, so,
Can't blame him for that, Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Just kidding.
We did get one last question here. This is for Coach Kane. This comes from Dave Hillis, down in Oxford, Mississippi, I believe. Asked Coach Kane if he enjoyed his swim in the steeplechase water jump up at St. Lawrence in 1992 after men's track won another conference outdoor championship.
Yeah, I did. And David Hillis, if you don't, he knows him, but if you didn't know him, he's about 6'6" and big. But anyway, yeah, those guys thought that was inordinately funny to get me in the water. So that was fine. I enjoyed it. Coach Haynes, I think he jumped in on his own. Him being the head coach, he didn't care. He just go in it, and I got thrown in, and that's okay. It's a good thing. His wife was one of my shot putters, and very, very good shot putter as well. And Dave was a javelin thrower, so was Karen. And so anyway, they've stuck around. They still come around some, Michael, at all, or no? Do you ever see them?
I haven't in a while, not since they moved from Illinois, then out to Buffalo, and then now to Mississippi. So I stay in touch as Facebook allows. All that social media.
Tell them hello, and tell Karen particularly a hello, because she's one of my favorite people of all time.
You got it. Okay, so hold on, we got one more for both coaches. There are guys that you remember for what they did on the field. Are there any players that come to mind that maybe didn't play a ton but had a big impact on the program or culture of Monmouth football? And that comes to us from Matt Barnes. Coach Braun is one of your players. You take that one first.
Yeah, Matty was a great one, All-American, great scholar athlete, was up for the, Division III Player of the Year award. So, tremendous one. But yeah, probably I would say early on, and Coach Kane coached this guy, had him there, John Moss, was just, definitely, he was a guy that, became a captain his senior year for us. Played on special teams, didn't start for us, but man, did he have an impact on our football team. That guy just made a tremendous, he invested in his teammates and loved his teammates and brought out the best, because he played as hard as he could every day. And I think they brought out the best out of his teammates every day, so he's a guy that kind of really stands out in my mind from early on in our career. And he was big on, getting us, our first winning season here in 2001.
So John's the one from Florida I recruited. Is that right? He was just like that. I'll buy that. He was a hard-headed, really good kid. I'll tell you right now, he was great.
We'll be thinking of John later when the Hurricanes take on Clemson. Is that later tonight? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I'll say a prayer for John on that one, probably. But I'd like to think he'll get that done, but I'm not so sure. We'll see.
Coaches, we'll give you a couple of minutes here for some closing remarks. But before we do that, let me just say that we really appreciate everyone for participating this afternoon, taking some time out to join us for the Best of Game Day. Hope you enjoyed the session. And we do hope that you'll join us for future, virtual events that we have. You can check out the website, which is a new website. If you haven't seen that yet, be sure to check that out for a schedule. And as a reminder, as you leave the webinar, you'll be invited to a short survey, and we hope that you'll just take a moment to give us your feedback, but more importantly, that you'll share your suggestions for future topics or presenters as we prepare more virtual engagement events this next semester. Also, this webinar was recorded, so if somebody didn't get a chance to see it and wants to, it'll be available through the college website within a few days. So many thanks to Coach Braun and Coach Kane for being so generous with your time. And so, coaches, now I'll leave it up to you for closing remarks.
All right. I'm going to let Chad close it up, but I'll do this. You know Grantland Rice? I bet Coach does. You know Grantland Rice? Yeah. You know who it is? Yeah. Anyway, in 1888, a Knox student reported it was a quiet, peaceful, sunny afternoon at Old Siwash when suddenly the quiet was broken by a bunch of Monmouth College boys who appeared without warning to challenge Knox to a football game. In less time than it took the bloody dust to run off, they had captured the early lead, and by the time it was over, Knox went away bad. So anyway, that was a long time ago, and I like those things of 1888 type things. And Grant Rice had all that same type of stuff, against the blue-gray sky and all those things. So that's what I did, and I like that.
Coach Braun.
Yeah, just thankful that Coach Kane was on here today, and it's great to see his involvement in the program. Still not done. He's got a grandson coaching for us now and doing an excellent job, and we're fortunate to have him on our staff now helping us, and he's a student here at Monmouth College and doing a great job for us, and just thankful for all the players through the years that have supported our program. All our alums, you guys are terrific, and appreciate all your support, and we're looking forward to getting back out on the field here soon, and if there's anything we can do to create better relationships with our alums, make sure you let us know and what we can do better on that end. But we have so many great ties to our past here and so many great resources for our current players that we need to do a better job tapping into you guys and help having you guys help our current guys navigate their life through college. So, but we appreciate all your support, and we're going to keep this program going in the right direction, and someday hopefully we're holding up a national championship trophy.
Absolutely.
We'll hold you to that, Coach Braun. Okay, guys. Again, thanks a lot. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I was just able to kind of stay in the background and give the floor to you guys. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. To everyone out there, thanks again for participating. Enjoy the remainder of your homecoming weekend. Stay safe, and as we always say here, roll Scots.
Yeah, let's have it not be any more of this kind of homecomings. I want to have
for
a
sure
game before
hard to do that.
we do these things, or way before, in the morning sometime. I don't know, but I don't like not having a game and doing these things. But anyway, it was fun. I enjoyed all of it.
Good.
Yeah. All
right, Coach.
We'll stop by and see you guys.
Okay, and
thanks, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
All right, see you, Coach Braun. See you, Coach Kane.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
Michael.
See you, Blaise.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.